start to the season. I really think that all three phases played good complementary football. It was a weird game in terms of time of possession and in terms of that middle eight that we talk about. I think there was about a 45 or 50-minute time where the offense wasn't even on the field. So we certainly need to improve there. That was a weird turnover going in the red zone, and then we got a great stop and roughed the punter, and then wound up going all the way down, and then had a field goal with, 3 seconds left. So I would certainly say that it was a good, hard-fought game. I think we showed that we have our defense has improved. I think that's been very clear. They played with great passion, great energy. I thought that was nice to see. Special teams, we need to make sure we don't rough the punter. And it was an amazing 85-yard field goal return for a touchdown, which I was told was the longest since 1996 in the Pac-12. So pretty cool statistic there. I thought that it was good to see really everybody work to get better every play, and they took the challenge of being a physical football team tonight. There were some penalties that came along with their passion and their energy and kind of their, let's call it 4 weeks of practicing against themselves. I think that showed up a little bit that we need to clear up, and we will. We certainly will, but I don't think there was any question that they played with an incredible passion and energy tonight at all three phases. Thought Jaden was very efficient, 18 for 24. That one interception late, that was a strange, something got, I don't know, him and T-Mac just weren't on the same page there. We got to clear that up. Other than that, obviously we don't want to turn the ball over with a fumble. But really, really excited with the way Jonah Coleman played. I thought he had a really good game tonight. Gave him a game ball. And great to have Jordan Morgan back. You could see with him coming back, that was a huge deal. As for injuries, as you know, the details aren't really clear at this point, but we did have to take Stukes out based upon a hit during the game. And then Raymond Polito had a little bit of a bike accident on Thursday night driving home from practice. So he was not able to play in the game, but I believe he'll be back. But he unfortunately, Thursday night on his way home from practice about 6:15 wound up, I don't know, falling off his bike, I guess. So we took care of that, stitched him up, but kept him at home tonight. Or today for the game. So hopefully he'll be back next week, and if he is, then we should be able to be full go. That was a physical football game. Hats off to NAU. I thought they came in here with a physical mentality. They were very much a team that came in with confidence. I thought they played very hard, and I think Coach Ball does a great job with his team.
Justin and then Troy. That run that Jaden had down the sideline, do you think that was a run that he would have made at this point in the season last year?
I don't know if he would have been as fast as he is now. So I don't know. I think and I don't know if he would have made it. He read his own read play and pulled it and felt the crashing end and took it. I just don't know if he had that same burst as he does now, which we always talk about how good of a job our strength staff does. And I think that's another indication. Jaden not only got bigger, stronger, faster. You know, he got all three, right? So that was a great run. I think he was flying. I didn't know he had that in him. So it was nice to see him take it up the sideline, and I thought he did a great job on that one.
Kind of a two-parter, just your thoughts on the front seven tonight and the rotation you guys were able to have out there, and then what was Coach Nansen's message to the defense after the game?
Well, you know, he was obviously, first of all, very excited with the way the defense played because they played not just extremely hard, but they played for 60 minutes. I mean, every time they had to go out there, they went out there with energy, passion, and a ferociousness. The idea of being able to bring more players in, we've talked about that defensively with the defensive front. The rotation makes a huge difference. You could see a fresher player makes a difference. They're harder to block. Now we got a challenge coming up this week with a SEC school that is going to have a really big offensive line that we're going to have to really be able to rotate our guys then as well. But it was certainly nice to see both linebacker, probably 4 or 5 linebackers played in the game tonight, and certainly 8 to 10 defensive linemen, if not more.
The running back unit had a combined 100+ yards receiving and a touchdown. What do you think allowed them to have so much success in the air?
Well, our running backs, we've been talking about them all year, how good of a group they are with Mike Wiley, Jonah Coleman, Rayshon Luke, DJ Williams. They all catch. They all go through pass routes every day with us. They're really good runners. But in addition to being really good runners, they have an ability out of the backfield that really makes them a dual threat. And the fact that all 4 of them are capable of doing that really allows us to be able to put anybody in at any given time and keep them fresh, which you could see when DJ went in, you could see how hard he was to tackle because he had such fresh legs after the other 2 guys were playing the first quarter and a half, to call it.
Considering there was that amount of time where you weren't on the field and you had a couple turnovers and whatnot, do you think that the offense was as good as it was last year, or that maybe it just had some of those early season hiccups?
Yeah, it was strange. I mean, Jaden was 18 for 24, I think. We had 53 plays for 478 yards. So in regards to what we averaged, I mean, we averaged over 8 yards a play. We were 4 for 5, I think, in the red zone. I would say that we didn't, where I was disappointed is that we wound up giving the ball away twice, and we shouldn't have. One of them was a fumble on 1st and 10, and one of them was an interception on 1st and 10. And if we didn't have those 2 plays, I think we would have had, for a small amount of plays, 58 to 60 plays, which is probably the least we've had since I've been here, a very efficient night. That being the case, it was great to see Montana catch a go route. It was great to see him break some tackles on a screen. It was great to see Jacob hit that 30-yarder. He wound up on that one ball that, they threw the penalty on that he caught or didn't catch over the middle. That umpire got right in his vision and wound up not catching it. So I think we could have had a chance for a great night, but there's a lot to clean up. And I would say that as we continue to build this offense with the expectation of being elite, we can't have those couple plays.
Jason and Michael.
Stoops leaves the game, and then Martel comes in and plays well. What can you just say about his performance and just him in general since he's come in?
Well, first, we gave him a scholarship last night, so that was awesome to be able to do that. And if you can, here's some. I saw there was an article written about his story, and I thought it was awesome that we were able to share with Tucson what this kid has gone through and how important it was for him to play, this year. And he did it, really off pennies. And the fact that we were able to give him a scholarship was awesome. And then for him to come in and then play as much as he played, the passion, the energy he brings, he is certainly a huge asset to our program. So it was great to have him contribute.
We know that Jaden Devore is a very aggressive player. On the play that he fumbled, he put his head down and tried to drive through the guy. What would you like to see him do in that situation?
Yeah, it's one of those tricky deals because we've talked about not, when you slide feet first, you really expose your upper body and your head in a rough way. We try to slide head first and protect yourself. That's something that we've talked a lot about. That was not that. That was trying to play fullback. We do not like that. So we need to work on really protecting himself in a better manner. I think he would tell you he should have scrambled earlier. He sat back in the pocket forever there waiting for something to happen. I think if he took off a little bit earlier, there would have been a little bit easier way for him to give himself up. And that's what you need to do in those situations. There's no place and no need for him to expose his head in that regard, or really his body for that matter.
In the second half, Gunner got ejected with the targeting call. Isaiah Taylor came in. How did you think he handled that situation in terms of coming in and replacing Gunner? And what did you think of the call?
Yeah, well, the call was the call. The call was the right call. I mean, it is what it is. We got to keep our head out of the game. We've talked about that, and it was the right call not to call it on Jacob. I thought when they threw the flag that it was going to be targeting Jacob, and it wasn't. They kept their head out of the game. We need to do a better job with that. We can't risk or suffer the consequences. Now Gunner can't play the first half of next week, and I know they'll review it and look at it, and maybe they'll say he can, but I don't think he can. And I thought IT stepped in. The good thing, we've talked about the safety battle all of camp. The safety battle really was just an ongoing battle that really all those guys were expected to play, and all those guys have the ability to play. So I don't think there was a real drop-off at the time, nor do I think and I thought Gunnar was playing really good football. So IT came in. I got to look at the film to see if I'm right or wrong on that, but it certainly looked like the defense certainly continued to play at a very, very high level, regardless of who was playing safety.
Beyond the result, what does it say just about the general state of the program that you were able to play so many guys on the defensive side of the ball, scholarship players too for that?
Yeah, well, you know, we're getting better. We are certainly getting better as a team. I mean, 2 years ago we sat here against this team and didn't have the same conversation. And it's a testament to the way our assistant coaches have recruited. It's a testament to the amount of players that we have that are young, you know, coming in that can contribute, and we're able to get in this game. I mean, there was a lot of scholarship young guys that were playing tonight on the defensive side. Tay Brown got in. Kamu got in. Jaden Smith played a lot of football. Gavin Hunter got in. And I'm sure I'm missing a lot of guys. Keanu got in, which was great. Keanu Miloto, who came in. So I think we're getting better on the defensive side. We're staying fresh. We're able to make more plays. And then offensively, you know, let's finish 2 more drives in the end zone and make this game a 50-something point game. And but we got a big challenge ahead of us. And this week coming up against Mississippi State, we got to be better football team. We got to be more less penalties, better all the way around. Coaches, players alike. We'll do a good job getting into the tape. We'll get our players back here tomorrow, and we will attack the film and get ready for a very good SEC opponent across the country.
After the final scrimmage of training camp, you were displeased with the number of penalties that you saw. And we saw a lot of penalties tonight as well. Do you think that message got through, or do you have to reinforce it?
Yeah, I think tonight's penalties were a little bit different, you know, because in scrimmages you don't ever have like roughing the passer or, you know, those type penalties. So those aren't ones that necessarily exist. The ones that, you know, we had no holding penalty. I don't think we had a holding penalty, but we definitely had way too many penalties, 11 penalties for 90 yards. A lot of it, I think, came with the passion, but we're going to clean it up. We're going to get after that part of it for sure, and we can't have, 3 or 4 personal fouls for 3 roughing the passers and 1 roughing the punter. I mean, or 2 roughing the pass. I think it was 3 and 1, and then we had a couple defensive offsides, and we just can't have that. That's not going to be a winning formula for us, and we know that, and we will attack that as well.
We saw Malachi get in the game. He was the first receiver outside that trio to get in the mix. What has he shown you just in practices that got him that playing time?
Yeah, Malachi's going to be really good. He's going to be a really good player, and he's getting better every time he goes out in the practice field. It's a lot. You know, our offense is a lot of plays and a lot of formations and a lot of different things that we ask of our wide receiving core, so it's hard to jump right in. T-Mac did it. Malachi is certainly fighting to do it. Kevin Green is fighting to do it. So, you know, AJ had a really good spring. But Malachi, he's fast, he's big, he's got a great, you know, demeanor about himself. He wants to be great. He works really hard at it. He's got a tremendous work ethic and personality, which usually leads to success. All right, thank you. I think you have Irby and Jaden.